Hey everybody, Bill Davis, Charleston-based writer, comedian, and performer. I write and perform for the stage and screen, and hopefully one day for money.
So yes, this is Snackin Yakkin with me, Big Ben Kennedy. He didn't need to say that part. You know this. You've been here, what? This is 65 times? I think he's episode 64 or 65 at this point. So you know what the show is. He didn't need to say it. He needs to make the pitch. He needs money. He wants to do it for money. Like the stuff, not the other stuff we talked about.
No,
your writing and your comedy.
Yeah, not the stuff down at the truck stop. Yeah, I would like to have enough to have a sandwich.
There you go.
Yeah.
Truck stop sandwiches are a little bit cheaper, aren't they?
Yeah, but you don't want, that's not ranch.
No.
I mean, it's handmade, not ranch.
Not ranch. Churned just the same.
I'm going to drink like Donald Trump.
There you go.
Then I'm going to do a racism. Here we go. Slur.
I was wondering because I get a little bit of the politics. Like some people come in and go political. I know you. I know your act because you're fearless with that. Let me just say, fearless. We go into the Lion's Den, man. You and I did a show together up in freaking Monk's Corner, Monk's Corner. I mean, come on, man. And you're just like, so, president's an idiot. Like I was just like,
Well,
God dang.
You know, a couple of things I was a state and national award-winning political reporter.
Yes.
I've interviewed presidential candidates for the people with canes at home, Joe Lieberman, guys like that.
Carter.
No,
Steven.
no, not him. But yeah,
The last time this state was blue.
right. So I'm very steeped in politics, and my granddad covered the White House
Okay.
for 20 years for the Associated Press.
Oh, wow.
And he also covered the State Department in D.C. for another 20 years. And I ended up covering the legislature here for 11 years and 1 year in Virginia. Do not compare to my granddad. But he was a Nixon man also, where maybe this is my rebellion. I don't
Gotcha. Well, I mean, God, remember when when presidents could be shamed? Remember?
Yeah, but the thing is, they took him out for the easy thing, which was the lying. He really stepped out because they were going to go after this thing called the Milk Fund. And if you've got a master's in political science, oh yeah, that
You're covering your mic.
sorry, you know that is the heat. That was the big problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually have a flag in my office. I have a home office that flew over the White House that was given to me by Nixon.
Oh, wow.
And I have
To you or to Grandpa
well,
to you?
I was there. I was a little one.
Yeah. Like I've got a baseball from Memorial Stadium, but Chris Hoyles caught it, handed it to my stepdad. My stepdad gave it to me.
I got a baseball story. So I've been working in town a while here in Charleston, and Mike Veck, who
I do know that name.
runs the River Dogs, and whose dad was the president of the White Sox and of the Cubs, knew that I had done some comedy and some Second City training. So he knew I got the funny.
Okay.
And he calls me up one day and he's like, Bill, save a spot. This was not the Charleston City paper. Save a spot for me. I got a story for you. Show up tonight at the ball field at the Joe at 5:30, whatever, and have a photographer. And I'm like, we go to press Tuesday, so it's got to be tight. He's like, don't worry, you're going to love it. And I show up, and Veck and his assistant, his right-hand man, I can't remember his name, it was Josh, and they're just tickled pink. They're so pleased with themselves, and they can't stop laughing. And I'm like, what's so funny? And they point, and it's Tanya Harding.
Oh,
They had brought Tanya Harding in for a meet and greet and signs. You sit under a tent and sign. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of funny, but how is that? You wanted me to save a space. And then they pointed, and the theme for that night was Mini Bat Night. And I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah, the baton.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Jeff Gillooly.
Galooly and
here's
the other guy,
Right. And so here's the
the
thing.
big heavyset guy.
Well,
He was the one who
it
did
was one of us.
He's the one who did the tap.
Right.
Galooly was the mastermind.
Right.
What was that other guy's name? Dang it.
So it's usually the knees that go first. And so And I'm like, oh,
You looking that up for us? My girl's always on it.
and so so we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God, that's really funny. I can't believe she. And I looked at him, and they're both going, it's like, you didn't tell her. And he's like, yeah, and we haven't given her the return ticket yet, so she has to do it. Either she does it or she never goes back to Oregon. And so I followed her around with this knowledge for about a half hour. Apparently she likes Hispanic dudes. She was very flirtatious with them. And then she finds out, and she understandably just goes ape and just loses it and gets so angry. And, you know, they explain to her, look, you have to do it. If you don't meet your contract, we don't give you the ticket flight, back to Oregon. And so she says, okay, but I won't sign any miniature bats. So immediately everyone goes in and buys like big baseball bats. There's probably like 20 or 30 baseball bats, and now with Tanya Harding's name on it. Well, I had to get a picture
For the paper.
right? And so I just thought of something, and my comedy training came in. And so I was like, hey, Miss Harding, I know you don't want to do an interview because these guys sandbagged you, but would you mind signing some baseballs that I could give to my kids? She said, sure. So she signed these balls and said, hey, would you mind posing for a photo so that my kids will know I'm at an international start? Just feeding the ego. She goes, sure. And I put my arm around her, and she's sitting there holding these baseballs. And the caption we wrote was, assistant editor Bill Davis poses with Tanya Harding while she cradles his balls. And
You guys are just trolling. Before trolling became a part of the freaking.
there was no interwebs at this point.
Right.
But, oh God, the lawsuits. And we got sued. And it's like, you made her look like a whore. And our attorney,
Her
Ed Fenna-
wedding video.
well,
Her wedding porn
he
video
said,
made her look like a
truth
whore.
is a defense. Not the first time I almost got in big trouble at the Rev Dogs. So as a reporter, being a writer in a state where no one can read or write is a terrible business model, right?
Yes.
So, you can't really expand anyway. And so I was always working side gigs. And one of the side gigs I worked off and on was for the New York Times. Whenever something went down here in town, I was one of the guys they would turn to occasionally to write stuff.
Gotcha.
The Sofa Superstore fire, I was the guy who did all that stuff, contributed to it. But the other one was they wanted me to go and cover a baseball story. A guy named Carl Pavano, who was a pitcher, later played for the Indians. He was in town. And so they hired me to go and follow this guy while he's on a medical assignment here. Right. He's coming back from Tommy John. He pulled his ULC. Anyway, so I go down there. And the story is that he had signed for $10 million a year for 4 years and they alleged, faking injuries to keep himself fresh so he could make those $10 million. And then at the end of that 4-year,
Go to another
team and write a mega. And that's what he did. It ended up working out for him. And there had just been a big story in some magazine, Elisa Milano, talking about how small his junk was because he was on steroids. And so steroids, you're not in a good mood anyway. And, all this stuff. And so they're getting ready and warmed up. And he goes out and he pitches his 2 or 3 innings. And he comes back in. And he goes, we're going to do the interview now. And all the reporters were just sitting there eating complimentary chicken wings and just like, what? Because that's bad form. When you're from the majors and you're at single A,
right?
You show respect to the guys playing. You say, I'm going to be part of this team until the game is over. Not Pavano. And so he's like, we're going to do this now. And I go, well, Mr. Pavano, considering the enmity, the anger at you within, you have to say Mr. Pavano, because that's part of writing and working for the New York Times. Mr. Pavano, where do you think you'll be pitching next year, considering the enmity towards you? Because that's a Bush League question. I'm like, well, this is single A. Bush League doesn't exist anymore. All the other reporters were like, probably going too far, Bill. And I did. He just started, well, they had sent down Reggie Jackson.
Oh, boy.
They had sent down Reggie Jackson to see how he was doing. And this other guy whose last name was Smith, I can't remember his name. And if they were doing well, then they would move some people, buy this guy, Pudge Rodriguez, which is what happened. And they ended up winning the World Series the next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They wanted to make sure that these guys were okay. And so they could deal some people. And they did, and it worked out. Anyway, I didn't know any of this. But Reggie's an old friend with Mr. Steinbrenner, and so he comes down and he
Yeah.
has got a tailored River Dogs uniform. You
Oh,
can tell there's been
wow.
some work done to make him look better, and he's like, yeah, Carl, don't let that. Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Don't let that fat fuck give you any shit. Tell that fat fuck where he can just stick it up his ass and all this stuff. And everyone, the other reporters there knew me, and they knew that I have a bit of an edge, and
No.
I just go, Hall of Fame. He can, he's got Hall of Fame vision. I have weight problems. That's not a problem. And so Pavano sits there and goes on. He's like, well, you better have a baseball question next, or no one's getting anything, in terms of
Right.
quotes. All the other reporters were like, and I go, well, coming back from Tommy John, you used to be able to hit a quarter on the wall at 95 miles an hour. Which is it harder to put back together, the control or the power? Literally the only baseball question, literally the only thing I knew to say in baseball.
Right.
And just came, he's like, that's a good question. He talked for a few minutes about it, answered the other guys, and went on. Later, Reggie comes walking back. Now, Reggie is about 5'10".
Yeah.
And he was in his 60s at this point. I'm in my late 40s. I'm heavier than I am now. I was about 350 back then. And he comes up to me in front of everyone and goes, hey, you know what I said to you about being fat and whatever? And I was like, yeah. I was expecting the apology. And he goes, I don't want to read that on whatever faggot blog you... And everyone was just like, now he is historically known for being a jackass. And so, I was about 6'1", 6'1.5" at my height, but he's 5'10".
Right.
And so I just squat down and I make a show of it, showing so we're finally eye to eye. And I go, tell me, Mr. Jackson, does it bother you that only one of us? Oh, yeah. And he goes, you better, I'm sorry, I don't work for a faggot podcast, as you said, sir. I actually work for the New York Times. And he was like, I'm Reggie Jackson. I know everybody at the New York Times. I don't know you. And I'm like, well, I'm the stringer. I'm the local guy they go to. Oh, so you're not really New York Times. And I just closed up my notebook, and you could just hear the other reporters go, oh, here it comes. Bill's going to bill it. And so I just dropped down and I looked him in the eyes. Like, does it bother you that only one of us is still in the big leagues? And everybody froze. Now, note, his forearms still looked like you took tree roots and just twisted them. He'd have murdered me. And he said, you know what that is, kid? I was like, what's that? That was a good one. You got me there. All righty. Okay. Everyone calm down. He won that one. And he starts walking off. I'm going to go, ice down. I'm like, what, your mouth? And he turns and he goes, you get one. And I go, I didn't have a hat on, but I was like, Hall of Fame. Tip of the hat. So that was the time where I nearly got my ass beat by Reggie Jackson.
Oh, that's so good. I don't think I had any run-ins. By the way, name. So it's Jeff Gillooly. Why do I think this guy's name was Michael?
No, it was not. It is Sean Eckert.
I have
Sean
absolutely
Eckhart.
Eckhart. Yes.
Sean Eckhart.
And Carl Pavano signed a 4-year, $39.95 million contract with the Yankees and played 26 games.
That's right. He would fake a hangnail. And then he went to Cleveland on a mega deal and finished up. At the end of the day, he's got a lot of money, but he also has small testicles.
Thank you, Alyssa. I knew I liked you. I liked Alyssa since...
Well, parts.
No, since it was like Halloween Hotel. There was an old like little Disney we were saw before. I think Who's the Boss. I liked her then. She's so cute. Alyssa Milano, so beautiful.
Yeah.
I liked her then.
I like women with hair. That was a little young for me. I like women with curves.
She's older than me.
Is she?
Yeah.
How old are you?
48. I look terrible for my age, apparently.
You don't look a day over 47. I just turned 59 last week. I've been telling everybody that next year I'm turning 60.
Yeah.
No, I'm turning 59 in July, but still next year I'm turning 60.
That's right. I had a teacher back in school who she was hilarious. She said she was clearly in her 60s, if not even pushing 70. She was old funny lady, old black lady. And
Spitting dust.
she said, I'm 39. She said, and then when my son turns 39, I turn 40. And then when he turns 40, I'm 39 again. I was like, you are the best.
Because she adopted.
Right, she's the best.
Yes, mother.
So your snack that you chose,
Carbs. Look at me.
Snyder's of Hanover, near and dear to my heart.
You don't
being
get
a
the
Marylander out there, just beneath Hanover, PA.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know the Mid-Atlantic terribly well.
Yeah. So Hanover, PA, and so I actually we went to the Snyder's, like old little factory thing that it used to be downtown Hanover,
where the children work.
Yeah, that's right. And we got to make a
pretzel.
We got to make a pretzel.
Here's your canary, and here's your snake.
They taught us how to,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Back with the way they used to make them. Now it's machines and stuff like that. But so I love this snack. And then I know I could have assumed, because these are the crack rocks of the snack world. I'm going to
push it directly into my vein.
Dude, you cannot resist these. Once you start, I mean, this bag, but I reach out to you. I don't have your phone number. Apple's was going to give it to me. So we're communicating through Facebook Messenger, which I think you check once every winter solstice.
I just turned 59.
So I was like, hey, man, what's next?
I can only check my messages when Andy Livengood. Call back before the camera was on for Andy Livengood to pull it for me.
Okay, so I said, hey, what's the snack? Nothing. I said, snack and drink. And then you were like, Snyder's Hanover pretzel, Snyder's pretzel pieces, Diet Coke. I said, cool. Honey mustard and onion. 1 hour before you showed up here today, you said, is there any other kind? I'm like, well, if there were, I'm screwed now, because
I tried to man up and do the spicy buffalo wing one.
Yeah.
I'm not man enough.
Well, there are other flavors.
No, as for the
there are hot buffalo wing, as you say.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Cheddar cheese.
Those are also good, but it's the honey mustard. That's the
yeah.
That's
So
the shit.
So
you know what would be
some
crazy
variety.
is you put it in a big bowl.
Oh, I'm gonna.
And then mix them all together.
We're going to.
And then put them on the front porch for Halloween with like an old timey oaken scoop. Here you go, kids. Now my favorite drink soda of all time is Fresca, but it has grapefruit juice in it, and I am loaded on antidepressants. I mean, Lexapro, bupropion, Wellbutrin, like anything to keep the pistol out of my mouth.
Bupropion is Wellbutrin.
You were supposed to pull that. Good pull though.
Oh, I'm on him. I'm on that too. So I knew.
Right.
Yeah.
The only bonus is that my body gives out before my testicles. So my wife's that's like really the only. Are you now? Okay, well I am. Okay.
Yeah, I've been on antidepressants now since 2012, I think.
I've been on them since 20.
Since 20. I was 34. Yeah, I was 34 when I finally had my big breakdown, because I was invincible, man. I was nothing like my folks. Fuck them. Their bullshit canceled out when they made me. And then life
It's like New Testament.
Yeah, life went, nope. Life said,
every time I see a family with a beautiful little kid in the grocery store, or even an ugly one, I always say, look, you're only going to fall more in love with them, but at 23, they're going to move back in. Because this happened with my kids, is that...
which your son is the best, man. Seeing him just a couple weeks ago at the long drive and everything.
He's a big sweet boy.
He is the best.
Right on the side of the head. He's a sweet boy. But, they go out into the world, and they get their shit handed to them. They're like, can I just go back for just a little bit? Yeah, they'll take another shot. And so, yeah.
I was 20. Say I was 20. And the conversation went like this. I might have been 19. I was 20. And my mom said to me, hey, we're getting evicted and your sister's pregnant, so we're going to move in with Grammy, and you've got friends, you can figure it out, right? And I've been on my own ever since.
Yeah, when
there was no coming back.
I was a raging alcoholic and drug addict, very active up until I was about 22. And my mom went to Al-Anon.
I went to Alateen
Right.
dances and stuff. My
Right.
parents were in, my dad and stepmom were in NA.
Oh, gotcha. And so, so on my 22nd birthday, I got a box in the mail from my mom, and I opened it up there in Athens, Georgia, and it was a yo-yo. And I was just like, and it's a note going, love you. You are on your own. You're on your own, yo-yo. You're on your own, yo-yo. So she said,
Oh,
so her Al-Anon sponsor made, because they had been underwriting my horse shit for so long.
So we went to the Alateen and those kinds of dances because my stepmom, which I guess rightly so, was of the opinion for us to go have fun and meet people where that wasn't a possibility, because she was worried about me because, heredity is a bitch.
No,
Right. So she was like, you genetically are going to be predisposed.
Right.
Now, ironically enough, that is something that apparently canceled out on me, because I don't have an addictive personality, really. I mean, unless you count maybe carbohydrates and maybe dangerous women back in my early years. Oh, we know. Had she not come along, I'd be dead. Somebody would have killed me.
How many
by now.
mistakes that she saved you from? Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Cigarettes, we smoked cigarettes together. I just one day just quit. Drove her nuts. She was like, how did you just do that?
When I quit,
just don't really.
The day I had my last cigarette, I was a meat cutting assistant, because it was a union shop at a Kroger's in Athens, Georgia, and I put out my Camel Light, and Mr. Llewellyn, the front end manager, called me up there, and I went up there and I had tied her down from 3 packs of Pall Malls a day.
Pall Mall, unfiltered.
Yeah, and it's not real, and it's cabbage. The filler is cabbage. Anyway, and so I put out that cigarette, and I went walking, and this is right when OB tampons came out.
Yeah.
The brand OB.
Yeah.
And, it's like, boop, sheep. And I got to the end, and at the end cap was the OB, but I was starting to get super dizzy because I was getting my last nicotine high, and I ditched and fell into them.
Oh, wow.
Into the end cap. Coming up, it was a weird angle, and Mr. Llewellyn comes up and he's like, you okay, Bill? And I'm like, yeah, but if I wasn't, this would have soaked up all my blood,
my mom, I'm a single mom, my sister, myself. As I became a teenager, or as I got towards teen, I was familiar with that stuff. I was always in the bathroom.
OB?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was always seeing it because I'm the only guy in a house full of girls. And then and then when we lived with my Grammy when we were younger, there was my aunt, my Grammy, my mom, and my sister.
And they were bleeders, famously. Gallons of menstrual goo.
Oh, God. Hey, man, you hungry?
Hey, go on.
So the old thing is that when I got older and I would take care of the grocery shop and I would do things like that, I would buy them.
Right.
I never thought anything of it. Well, most guys don't. And let's say
What's your flow?
The guys that
that's a functionally woke guy knows his wife or lady's flow.
Right. No, I don't know if that's true. Her and I we got together. I was 20.
That was the thing that was so weird. I was dating
24.
this lovely lady for a little bit in college, and she was having some issues downstairs, and so she gave me the keys to her Jeep, and I went up, and I went to the Kroger, that same Kroger, and I just sat there. And I was just like, I didn't know that there was flow. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw all the colors. So I thought flavor, like juicy fruit, but not. It turns out.
Or scented.
No. And so I had to go up, and this is before cell phones, because I'm long of tooth and full of beard. And so I had to go up to the ladies, these lovely African-American ladies at the counter, say, hey, can I borrow your phone real quick? I have to call my girlfriend about something personal. And they go, sure. And I'm like, baby, yeah, what's your flow? And these old African-American grandmothers like, oh, you so sweet. You sweet. Look at you taking care of your boo. I don't think they said boo, but that's.
Yeah, not that back then. You're definitely trying to age yourself.
Right, yeah.
You're trying to make yourself hip.
De-age.
And it's okay, de-age yourself, I know. No, but so she had guys who were just mortified by that kind of stuff. So when she met me, she was like, wow, you're really mature with that. And I was like, I didn't know that you wouldn't be. It just wasn't a thing in my world.
Yeah, according to my son, you should, for sort of the same reason, never share a bathroom with my daughter. Because she's just, my son was a Major League Baseball prospect for a couple of minutes. My daughter does not have the same eye hand.
Just on the floor.
Hey. Close enough.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, my son and daughter do share a bathroom, and it is the battle zone biohazard room of the house. The both of them. You can't blame one or the other.
Sure.
And they're 20 and 10 right now. Yeah.
Well, who's 20?
The son.
Okay.
My son's 20. My daughter's 10. They take the longest showers on the planet.
Well, I know why he does. By the way, for moms at home, if you have a 14-year-old and you see a sock under the bed, do not touch it.
I talked about that with a girl. It was at an EMS convention, right?
Let their bit. It's like a boomerang.
And she said, my son, God, like I do this, and she was talking about him, and I go, so there was towels. I said, so when you picked it up, if you smacked it on the dresser, did it shatter like glass? And I thought she was going to shit herself. She was laughing so hard.
I tell you what you want, but that's some output.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should have 10 grandchildren by now.
Oh, my God. So I'm waiting to be a granddad. I've been practicing on this little girl a couple doors down, but she's 10 or 11 now, so it's kind of creepy to bring her gifts when I go traveling. And my son's been with the same lady, just a lovely lady named Liv, 5 years. And every time she comes over, I'm looking for the baby bump.
No.
Right? And one day I thought I saw it, and I go, oh. So I start going like this at my wife, back when she spoke to me. And I started going, check it out. And my son caught me, going like, it's going to happen. And he sent me a text going, relax. We had wings for lunch. That's just salt water retention. I was like,
so I have a fast 5 I get to before the snack, and I usually say, hey, anybody watching, please like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, do all the things. I love you. And so then I ask these 5 questions. They couldn't be more simple. Nacho cheese or Cool Ranch Doritos?
Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch.
Oreo, in part because, ranch was invented by an African-American man at Hidden Valley Ranch, Colorado. So I like to stay true to my politics. Whenever I pick up coffee now, I used to say black like my politics, but now I say dark like my poetry.
What is the little girl in Airplane said? Black and sweet, like I like my men.
Right?
So, Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Oreos. The little thing I know about Oreos, worst thing to dig out of teeth. So if you're angry at your dentist, eat a packet of those. Eat a sleeve of those some bitches before you go in.
Yep. Five Guys or Smash Burger?
Okay. I don't know what Smash Burger is.
Okay. Well, let's say just like Five Guys style or Smash Burger style. Do you know the Smash Burger style? Basically, they found a way to give you less meat,
right,
and cook it harder.
And charge you more.
Yeah.
Right. First time, I remember I had that at a place called GD Ritzy's when I was like 9 years old on Lawyers Road, Albemarle Road, in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I loved the lacy little bits at the edge.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest to my East Charlotte roots, I'm going to say the Five Guys with extra ketchup.
Yeah, I do like a Five Guys burger. We lost them here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there still the one over there?
In Mount Pleasant?
Okay, so there's one in Mount Pleasant. Did we also lose the one at Center Point or up there by
Tanger?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy.
I'm the only one in my house who likes
Anyone
crunchy.
who says anything other than crunchy is broken on the inside.
I just love the crunchy. I do.
It's it's peanuttier.
That's true too, but also I think I've become a fan of more to chew, of texture as I've gotten older. So I would love like a crunchy peanut butter with the chunkiest strawberry preserve fucking thing in the world. I want just textures and flavor bursts. I'm a big fan of that.
here's something that Big Jelly doesn't want people to know. If you cut strawberries, sliced strawberries, go bread, strawberry jam, sliced strawberries, and then the crunchy peanut butter on toasted rye. Greatest sandwich ever.
Okay. I will be doing this.
Yeah, when I say greatest sandwich ever, that just tells you I've not had a three-way.
That's true. I haven't either. And then usually the last one's kind of regional. Sometimes it's direct to Charleston. Sometimes it's regional. Seafood or barbecue?
Barbecue all day long. God,
Barbecue.
I love. Now you can tell by looking at my silhouette that I'm not picky. But I love barbecue. I love that Charleston has become a center for high-end barbecue. Burnt ends at Lewis's, untouchable. Jalapeno corn pudding at Lewis's, untouchable. Wings at Home Team, untouchable.
I had a guest coming in 2 more episodes, and that's what he chose.
Goddamn right.
Was the smoked wings.
That's absolutely right.
Yep.
That is
and
absolutely
we
correct.
will be sharing a nice platter of them. You'll see it in
I
a couple of weeks.
I had wings for lunch that I had all drums because I'm made of money, and it's a $2 upcharge. My son taught me this. Get your wings. Get your ranch or blue cheese. Irrelevant. Get an extra ramekin.
Okay.
Of dip.
Of say ranch or whatever.
No.
Oh.
Of the
sauce.
Of the sauce,
Okay,
right.
got you.
Because
So
then you
like
could
buffalo, get buffalo.
boom, hit it, and then hit.
So you don't run the risk of having too much ranch just drowns out whatever sauce has clung to the wing. You want more.
If I like that sauce, why not go for even more sauce? Because it's going to sit in the window for a little bit. It's going to sit under the heat lamps before it comes out.
True.
But when you do that, you can really. It might be properly sauced, but if it isn't to your liking, and I like it wet. As he licks his fingers.
Yeah,
I like it wet.
it's perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's next level? So, now when I'm at home, I cook a lot of seafood.
Okay.
And
What's your favorite?
one of the problems is I'm allergic to shrimp shells, so I have to put on like goofy surgical gloves to peel them.
Yeah, nitrile. Yeah.
Huh?
Nitrile gloves.
Nitrile gloves. Yeah, exactly. And I alway go to get the little puff of stuff to come out. So that's really difficult. But a nice blackened catfish.
Got you.
I like that.
I am a fan of salmon to no end.
Salmon.
I love it. I love it. I remember I was at my cousin's wedding, and she had New York strip, and she had salmon with this like caramel sauce. And just to go to show you how childlike my family is, love you guys. My Aunt Sally leans in and she goes, "Hey," and I'm thinking she's about to tell me like some scuttlebutt or some like lace along, like, that woman over there, she's a pain in the ass, but she gets in, she goes, "Hey, I'm going to give you my salmon and you give me your steak." Because it was both on the plate. And I go, okay. And so I'm just eating salmon. And then like I think my uncle Jeff goes, "Hey, can you trade?" I said, "I don't have any steak to trade." And he was like, "Man." So then they're doing this route. And I wound up with like 3 pieces of salmon at this wedding. And I couldn't have been happier.
He reconstructed the fish.
I love it.
So my grandfather had an interesting family. We're from the hills of Tennessee. And
I love Tennessee, by the way.
But East Tennessee, Johnson City. And at my grandfather's funeral, I was 11. He was 11. No. At my grandfather's funeral, I was 11 years old. He who is without sin, point glass houses, stones. Anyway, he passed, and I knew he had a brother that I was very close to, Ted. And he had a twin brother. What I didn't know was Ted was 4 years older than my dad. And when he came out, he was sort of like developmentally delayed and all that stuff.
Got you.
And then my granddad hit my namesake, Bill Davis, 1.0, hit the ground, and all of a sudden the two of them just shot up together. And
Gotcha.
Ted caught up, and they had their own little twin language up in the
Yeah.
hills of Tennessee. And Mr. Cuddy brought the milk, and it said moo on the steps, so they called it Cuddy Mo, which was sort of, their own little lingo. And I'd never met Ted, so people came up to me, and I mean, this is 1978, and so
The
people
year I was born.
the year my grandfather died. Coincidence? God, let's hope so. And so
Ask me
people
questions.
came
We'll
up
see
and
if it's a
said, like 3
reincarnation.
or 4 family members said, "Hey, don't freak out when Uncle Ted comes in." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "He and your grandfather were twins. I know they were." So I can, So the thing was, and I was like, "Ha ha ha! Hills of Tennessee." This is when we're in D.C. Hills of Tennessee. I have a twin who's 4 years older than me. Ha ha ha! Okay, I get it. And I sit there and I look up after a while, and there's my granddad standing in the doorway in a green leisure suit with a light green. It was Ted,
Right.
but oh my God, it was my grandfather. It was so crazy. And I was just like, he was like, "Oh yeah, they probably warned you that we looked a lot alike." I mean, I had no idea. Ted sits next to me, and I loved my granddad. Good God, the sweetest man in the world. And so I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting next to Ted because it reminds me of Bill One. And he turns to me much like you did with the salmon, proving my Johnson City provenance, goes, "You gonna eat that gristle?"
Why let it go to waste?
Piece of gristle keep a man warm in the winter. Come on.
You mentioned having a big thing in Halloween. Now I want to mix things up. I
Right.
want to mix them together. I am the one.
Percocets and Xanax.
That's right. I'm the one who makes my family nuts when I take the cardboard separator out of the middle of the try popcorn at in the holiday tins. I love it. I love it. Mix it all up. They don't like it
Well, they're wrong.
because they have their favorites. Nobody. Well,
Are they full-figured gals like we are?
I'm not saying nobody, but white cheddar's the least favorite of everybody, and I love that one. Butter, I'm good with, but if I could just do white cheddar and
Caramel?
and caramel, done, man. I would be a happy, happy man. Because I'm salty and sweet all day. That's probably why those honey mustard and onion over there is so dang good.
Right.
I just love salty and sweet.
You know how Lay's says, "I bet you can only eat one." They mean chip. For Snyder's, it's one bag.
Right. I bet you can only eat one bag. You know, when they put them, they have them in like tubes now. These like in the gas station.
So you can do 'em
It's not a
anally?
tube. Yep. That's it. You beat me to it. No, it's a pouch like how peanuts come in or something like that, but slightly larger.
Of course, I've seen that.
And dude, what a tease, man!
You don't get C cups without knowing about the tube of Snyder's.
That's right. That's right. All right. So this has got to be good. This has got to be good.
This is a melange.
A melange.
I was looking at your shirt, and you have a picture on your shirt of the funniest female actress ever, Madeline Kahn.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh my God.
You could have just said, "Who is the funniest actress on your shirt?" I would have beat you to it.
Second funniest lady ever, Cloris Leachman.
I would agree.
And beauty pageant winner.
The work she put in at the end of her career on a show called Raising Hope,
Oh yeah, the grandmother.
phenomenal. I loved her character so much.
Yeah, I went back and I heard that she had been a beauty pageant. I'm like, strikingly handsome woman. I went back and I looked at pictures of her from her pageant days.
Amazing.
Wowzers.
You know, I have a thing for older women too. I like them older. I don't like them younger.
Or
My
of course
wife
she was
is
young.
slightly older than me.
Right.
I like them older. And we were just talking about Apples and I. We're talking about our old lady kind of like crushes, like celebrities.
Sure. Helen Mirren,
Something like he
Andy
said.
McDowell.
He said something, and I said, "It's a shame she's a lesbian, but God, would I fucking let Jane Lynch tie me up and beat me?" I think she's hot as shit.
I have really
I
bad
like
gaydar.
her. I like her attitude. I like her. I just like everything about her. That's it. I think it's
She's probably good people. I had bad gaydar. I really thought Martina Navratilova was cute and Ellen DeGeneres.
I
Maybe I like Bob's.
I did think Ellen DeGeneres, I didn't pick up on that when I first watched her on TV. And then Rosie O'Donnell, I did not either. And I thought I liked her a lot. Actually, that was Apple's pick, was Rosie O'Donnell.
Really?
Back in the day, he thought he had a crush on her.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going there.
About the time of her talk show,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, she's so cute.
He just saw success. He was going to be the next Tom Arnold.
Mm-hmm. Or Stedman Graham. How about that name?
There should be a like the ultimate climber. My name is Tom Man Graham. Oh, can't do it. If we could merge those two.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Arnold had a good run. Stedman's still going.
You know,
Was it Bill Burr has that bit where he's like, imagine a documentary with that guy. He's like, he's like walking her dogs and he's like, the Cocker Spaniel's the fussiest. Like, it's like, what does he do? Like, oh, you're going to do the hot buffalo?
I'm going for it.
Holy shit, man.
But you might have to change your first name to Sean like that guy on Hot Ones.
Yeah. All right, well,
We'll go.
just in case you need a palate cleanser and you bail.
Yeah, I can eat it for that many minutes. I got it. Problem, I bit my tongue last night, and I only chew on one side of my mouth, and it was like a cow. And so I will be rubbing it directly into my exposed. Speaking of food, Panda Palace on Wapu Road, never go there.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrible. I used to live in Asia, and it's just bad and expensive. It's right next to Donato's.
Oh, I know. If you do, I don't know if I'm going to keep that in. I don't want people coming after me. On DoorDash, they'll do the General So's for like two for 20, or two for like 50.
You know, he was a real general. That's not a messing around thing. The dish he made that we eat is an approximation, but he made it for Mao at a sort of like a national dinner. He got up and made this dish and dedicated it to Mao Zedong. Isn't that crazy?
I was about to say Mao Zedong or something. I was about to butcher that shit up.
So my son that we spoke so highly of earlier just sent me a text saying moron.
Moron?
Yeah.
There you go.
Not wrong.
But I mean, he just does it. It's like, 4:00 in the afternoon. He's like, hey, moron.
Well, I lost the key. I found it.
Oh.
I was trying to make it seem like he did it. It was his fault, but it was clearly my fault. And then I picked up my coffee mug on the way here, and it was in the coffee cup holder.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the coffee cup kept tittering around. It's because it was sitting on top of the little block Prius key.
I just realized never at any point in my life, I don't even know if it was in my childhood homes. It might have been in my childhood homes, which are all rentals. But since we've been together, I've never had a hiding spot for a house key. I'm so paranoid and worried. Yeah, I've just never had it. And then as obsessed as I am with time travel, it's like, that would be
time travel?
Oh, I love time travel movies, and that genre is my science fiction.
Right.
It's like, I really should have a key hidden somewhere because I'll never know when I'm like,
I'm going to pop back in from the
pop
future.
back in here or pop back in the
I'm
future.
going to leave them on the... crap.
Like today was the day that I died and I got to go back, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to leave a note saying, don't leave the house. And I got no way to fucking do it.
If you could go back in time, I'll turn the comfy chairs on. If you could go back in time to one moment what would it be?
And I'll tell you, I'm a nerd for this shit. This
All right.
is my
Bring it.
genre. Much like Ray Bradbury, the Butterfly Effect, the whole nine, I
Right.
wouldn't touch it. The
However,
only thing I would want to do was to see our meeting from afar, from across the room. No, ours.
Oh.
I don't know where I met you.
probably some dirty club.
I think I met you at Tin Roof.
Oh, again, dirty club. I ran into Aaron, the owner, today at Costco. And I went up and I started giving her little hugs in front of her husband. I started giving her hugs and kisses. Just one. So you want to mind now. You be sweet now. Don't you hurt nobody's feelings. Don't you break no hearts. Mm-hmm. I had a good friend of mine, William Earl Adams IV, that we all called Tad, because his dad's nickname was Frog. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Frog
Tadpole.
and Tadpole.
Yeah.
And his mother, Mama Rowe, anytime in high school that we were going to go out and get fucked up, and I do mean fucked up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
With a 7. She would always say, you boys, you be sweet now. You one of mine now. I'm putting my mark on you. Mama Rowe. And she was very attractive, like that the actress who played Dixie Carter on, talking about an
Designing women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word MILF hadn't been invented yet.
Well,
But
yeah.
all the guys would
if it
come
were
in-
up to you, it would. Mr. Hip Lingo from back in the day.
Right, yeah.
Nobody called it that.
Now, here's the thing. I'm linguistically a time traveler. I take words from now and I take them back 40 years. But, Mama Rowe would walk through and all the guys would just be like, we'd all check her out. And the next morning or afternoon, we were finally getting up, and we would be so hungover and so crashed out because we would get into some heavy shit. She would like, Bill, you should wake up, baby. Time to get up. I got to go to work. I pressed you some bacon, and there's some sweet coffee in there. I love you. You be sweet now. I'm like, thank you, Mama Rowe.
Let me tell you. So much like your story, but not. I used to have a friend named Titus A-Y-E. Him and WT, they were my friends, and they were half Korean, half black. You know, Korean mom, black dad.
Right. Doesn't go the other way.
Where, in my experience, I have 3 half black nephews. In my experience, in the genetic thing, black overpowers all.
Okay.
Apparently, it doesn't because Titus looked purely Korean.
Right.
No,
Like my
now,
son.
WT.
My wife is half Korean.
Yeah, WT looked black, but he had features like he's like his eyes. There's certain things that you could tell he's like Korean or somewhere, some Asian.
He had been
influence.
touched by something.
Something. But they were cute kids, you know, and they were my very good friends in elementary school. I got to spend the night at their house on a school night.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom, much like Mama Rowe, beat the shit out of us because we weren't getting out of bed on time. I did not have that kind of sweetheart thing.
That's a different kind. That's a tiger mom.
Yes.
That's not a hover
She
mom.
beat the shit
That's
out
a
of us.
tiger mom.
She was like, get up. But he just started beating us, and we're like, ah.
My
'Cause we
dad,
stayed up playing Nintendo.
of course, my dad's big thing was just to come in and pour cold ice water on me in the bed. So every night I would.
Her dad did that to her sister and something like that.
So I would get up, go to bed every night, and it'd still be a little damp. And I didn't care. I was a pig, an animal. You know, I was not the best dad growing up. Again, going back to my son, Cowbone Davis, he was very active athletically.
very good golfer too.
And very good. Yeah, he got so excited. He sent me a picture the other day. And it said, and he looked at all the scores. I got a 75. And he added it up wrong. He got a 77. But still, for someone who plays golf every few months.
Seriously, like 77.
So we're
Now
driving.
I'm
da-
disappointed.
We're driving
Don't
down.
keep
We're
this
driving a double hockey stick. So we're driving down to Calhoun, 4:00 in the afternoon. I've picked him up from Buste. We've got to get ass out. He's just had judo. His karate training with Joseph Coker of all people.
Yeah.
And he and we got to get him to basketball. And so he's in the back seat of my minivan.
I remember the minivan. You don't still have that, do you?
No, this was a red one. We had this red Honda, and not the one I gave to Apples. Anyway, so he's sitting there, and he's getting changed out of his gi, which is the pajamas you do.
My daughter's in Taekwondo.
Gotcha. And so he's taking off his gi, getting ready to put on his basketball stuff, but he's always been very conscientious. So he had his seatbelt on, and we're on Calhoun Street, and there's this convertible filled with 4 or 5 very pretty young sorority girls right next to us. So Kyle got down to his Transformer underwear. So I'm just like, boom, I hit the sliding door, and he looks up at me, and then he looks out, and there's these girls, and they're just dying laughing. And he's just like, I hate you. So that's the guy who just called me a moron.
And he goes like this. Then he goes, note to self. He's like, 15 years from now. Moron. He's like, I got him back.
Maggie was in the other seat. It's my daughter, who's a chef up in New York. And she just starts dying laughing because she and I are like the same person.
I saw you and the kids in the minivan. We were driving down the street. As a matter of fact, Savannah Highway, pretty much passing where Five Guys used to be. And I hear, burn, burn, burn. It's like maniacal, like just, and I'm like, what the fuck is this asshole's problem? And I look over and it's you. You're like, hey, you know, like,
I love seeing people.
That was also back in the day when maybe Charleston wasn't as hot. It's definitely hotter now. And we would ride with windows
Thank you,
down.
Lululemon. No, sorry.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
yeah, good joke. It was, but we would ride with windows down also because we couldn't afford in the earlier parts of our relationship cars like we can now.
Right.
Nate Bargatze has the best bit about that. He said,
the Christian nationalist. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anybody who isn't a fan of him now probably wasn't to begin with.
Right. I mean, he's very good.
He's from Old Hickory, Tennessee. It's like, you didn't think that was his politics?
Right. I just hate how disingenuous they are about it because I've opened up for a couple of the guys around the table.
Yeah.
On his
Greg Warren and his people is.
Yeah, and the Greg guy who's like, well, my family's not political, but my wife was Condoleezza Rice personal assistant. And I'm like, but I interrupted. You were going to say Nate Bargatze.
But he has a great bit where he talks about having kids. And he's like, when the first kid is born, he's like, your parents, it's like, you look around and you're like, I don't even think I was supposed to be here yet. They're not ready for you. He said, by the time the last one's born, your parents are trillionaires. And he's like, they're living in houses that the firstborn never even saw.
Right. Yeah. There's such enmity between the generations of your own children.
And then he said, a second floor, that's like a whole house on top of a house.
What are you talking about? So my brother's always been a bit of a shit. And he's 11 years my junior. And when I was 8 years old, we lived in half of a duplex, 2 bedrooms. Everything, it was the happiest time of my life because it was so small. I was always up on top of my parents. Just all this connection. It was the sweetest time of my life. Flash forward 11 years, I'm getting dropped off at the University of Georgia. My parents are coming to visit me or something. And my 8-year-old brother when I was 8, when we were in that,
half a duplex,
we were on stamps, powdered milk. A lot of people don't know this. Powdered milk's blue. Yeah. Back in the day, it's blue. Powdered milk is like that, when they started drinking blue stuff on Star Wars, I'm like, yeah, I've been there. But
skim milk used to look blue too.
Yeah, but it's a little bit, but it's really blue.
Right.
And I don't know why. I got a degree in English. And
not agricultural science.
No, not science. And so flash forward 11 years, freshman at Georgia, because I had to take a year off and go to jail in California. Long story. And short story, I was guilty. And so my brother orders filet mignon. And he sends it back because he had ordered it medium rare, and this was medium. And he was right.
He knew.
He knew.
He knew the difference.
He knew at 8 years old the difference. Not only did he have the temerity to order a filet mignon, but to send it back because it was medium instead of medium rare.
He had them enough in his little life at that point to discern the difference.
I like it where it's not really blood, but when it runs, because that lets you know it's really medium rare. So
it's wild.
I remember,
but I have to be honest, my son is experiencing that. He totally said he agrees. He wasn't a spoiled kid, but I mean, we lived in an apartment. And I could tell you the slumlord that we rented it from when we moved here, because you probably do know him. Everybody does. No, that's funny that you mentioned that. So turn around and we rent this place, and this place is a shithole. It's a dump. Every time we treat for bugs, they come back over from the apartment next door.
That's right.
It's just one of these things. And I'm gonna take all these names out. I'll tell you after we're done. But basically my son's got what looks like black mold growing in his room, and he's like, I'll just get some Kills and we'll paint over it. And we said, yeah, we got to get the fuck out of here.
So I have some rental property because I did a better job of pre-selecting my grandfather than you did on my other side. And so I had, so, I I got a duplex downtown. I had a place right down the street here. And, what was I going to tell you about that?
Well, we bought our first home. My daughter's only ever known a house
Oh, right.
with her backyard.
Oh,
She's
I
never
remember-
known apartments.
I remember when I got my first, ice maker.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That was right over there on Tall Oak where I live.
somebody said that. You got refrigerator ice? We were like blown away. Some guest had said that too, where we were just like, do you remember the first time you had ice? Brandon Johnston.
I know
He said,
Brandon.
holy crap. He's like, fridge ice. He's like, water in the door.
Right.
Like we were losing our minds. I remember the first time we got a dishwasher
Mm-hmm.
and we were just like, wow.
I traded a lamp for a dishwasher.
Smart
At our
trade.
house over there on Tall Oak, a guy said, "Hey, I really like that lamp, and I'm getting rid of this dishwasher, and I work in construction. Do you want me to swap it out?" And I was just like, "Yes," like a little country mouse. Yes, that thing hung in there. I spent so then after that, I spent a lot of money a couple of years ago and bought a Bosch, like
Yeah.
the top of the line. And there's this great guy in West Ashley, Arik Rom, and he owns 911 service today. And I'm like, Arik, considering you're from the Middle East, maybe not. But anyway, he comes over to the house and he's like, Boss, this is a Bosch. You got to treat it right, Boss, because he's from Tel Aviv. He's a Boss. Look, you still have what are the pits from olives in here, and I appreciate that because I love olives too. But Boss, what are you thinking? How much money? Then he starts yelling at me, and my wife is like, "Oh, I like him," because our place repairman yells at me. So
Yeah.
Kim's for it.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I mean,
Well, my father once told me that luxury,
she would have loved Reggie Jackson.
she would not. She's a cubby. A luxury, Ernie Banks, a luxury once tasted soon becomes a necessity.
Like filet mignon.
Or air conditioning. My
Yeah, that's
dad would
true.
not turn on air conditioning until July 1st. We had box fans.
Yep.
And
I mean, you know, I know the type. I'm just saying, I know the type. I remember the type.
So, and the other thing is my dad, who'd grown up poor and just outside of the, was born just at the tail end of the Depression. We wouldn't have air conditioning. We'd mow with the bag on and off depending on the time. He had all these very rigid. What did I was going to tell you about that? Oh well.
We have a ceiling fan in like every room of our house. So you figure we wouldn't run the air
Right.
conditioning very often. We run the air conditioning and leave the ceiling fans
That's
on.
absolutely right. One time,
We do not like being the least bit warm.
I had a house down here off of Playground Road, and I'd moved mom and dad into it because he had Alzheimer's, and now my dad was a PhD and a professor from Chapel Hill, so 50% of my dad would smoke 85% of people. He was a sharp cat,
Very cool.
bit of an ass, bit stentorian in his speech. Anyway, like when you walk into a room and you forget why you're like I just did there in those stories.
Yeah.
You just walk into a room and you're like, what the hell did I come in here for? So I did that once when I was taking care of him at the house down at South Sherwood. And I go, and I hear out of the corner of my, it gets better. And there's my dad who has Alzheimer's, just kind of smiling. And then I looked at him, and half of his face still had on shaving cream, and he didn't have on any pants.
Gets better.
It gets better. Oh, shit.
So would he have those moments of lucidity just out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah. He would just, well,
Because that was my favorite thing about Cloris Leachman's character was the comedy
she
they
would
built
check
in,
back in.
where she would just come back in because like she was eating fries and she goes, "Are you lucid?" And it's Martha Plimpton. She goes, "Are you lucid?" And she goes, "Yes, but I don't know for how long."
Right.
And she's like, "All right, I have something to ask you." She's like, "Go ahead."
Get it
You know,
in
like
quick.
that, dude. The way that she was
So,
aware
what-
that she was senile is the best.
So again, we come from this political. My dad was a history professor and did a lot of stuff in politics. So when he had a surgery which stripped all of his ability to compensate for his Alzheimer's, I went in and he was like, "Hey, big fella, you're a little heavy, but you're a good-looking guy." Didn't recognize me.
Oh yeah.
And then he looks up and he had C-SPAN on because he's a nerd. And he goes, "Hey, look, it's Grover Norquist. I hate that guy." So Grover Norquist was the guy. He said, "We need to shrink government to where we can strangle it in the bathtub."
Gotcha. And that left an impression. Your little league career. Fuck that. He doesn't remember anything about you.
He was the D1 athlete. I wasn't. So what to remember anyway. But he couldn't recognize me. But he knew who Grover Norquist
That's
was.
rough, isn't
I was
it?
like,
But you know, when they lose certain connections, like I'll have a dementia patient in the back of my
right.
ambulance, and sometimes they'll say the most racist thing. And
Sure.
I'm sitting here thinking, you were so racist to your core that as you lost the ability to remember things, you never let go of racism.
Right.
That's wild.
So my dad, who was a Democrat and, was highly educated and part of all that thing, but he was also from the hills of Tennessee, and he was born into a simpler and angrier time, right? So when Dad was sitting there coming out of that surgery where he kind of lost the ability to compensate, we put him into a nursing home. We had to put him into a long-term rehab situation. And the problem was there was nothing available in Charlotte that week, and he ended up getting put into a Medicare bed, which it was right. So it's what there was available. Absolutely clean, great care. But
Right.
everybody who worked there was African American, and everybody who was in there was African American, and the doctors were African American. And so my father's sitting there holding the Carlton 100, shaking, smoking, right? And he just looks at me and he goes, "What's with all the Kafirs?" And Kafir is the N word in South Africa.
My
And
God.
I'm like, Dad, if one of these people had heard you who had traveled a little bit,
right.
how
Or is
awkward.
a first generation here born under.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but he would at the same time, Charlotte's first and probably, for a while only African American mayor was a guy named Harvey Gantt. He's from Charleston, and
I knew that name.
he designed.
Isn't that double T? Isn't it Gantt?
Yeah,
Right.
He designed Burke, and he designed the ILA Hall, first African American to go to Clemson. Great guy, very sharp. And my dad loved this guy, but because he worked in government, he couldn't be seen donating. So he would always donate to Gantt, 100, 500, whatever it was, under the name of our dog,
Oh, gotcha.
Oliver Wendell Davis. So to this day, every once in a while, we'll get a letter or, or an email addressed to Oliver Wendell Davis asking to help support this liberal position,
Gotcha.
whatever. So my dog still gets mail. He's dead 30 years, 40 years.
That's awesome. What do we have for time?
You're at an hour 5.
Hour 5. So in a little bit of political thing, my great uncle Ambrose Jerome Kennedy, he was
What a great name.
yeah, he was a Democrat.
I got Bill Davis.
He was a Democratic House of Representatives for the 10th Ward in Baltimore, which was kind of like Little Ireland.
Pronounce it correctly.
Balmer.
Thank you.
10th Ward, basically all built around St. John's
Mhm.
Catholic Church. And so everybody settled there and everybody knew each other. And he went into politics. He was a clerk, went into politics. And the NAACP and a lot of the old records they have where they were talking about anti-lynching bills and things like that. He's mentioned in one of the books for the early beginnings of the creation of that coalition, because they've reached out to a bunch of politicians to sign this anti-lynching bill. And though his response was less than great, because he was like, I'm in an election year and it would be very unpopular, although I do 100% agree with your cause, they still respected it because I think out of reaching out to, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 to 100 or something politicians, he was one of only 3 that wrote back.
Right.
But I've always found, at least in my, I don't know, in my readings or in just the stories, the Irish and the Black communities were not very at odds with each other much historically, at least in Balmer.
My thing was I grew up in Charlotte, so like Catholics were an exotic.
Yeah, they were definitely Catholic.
But we don't have a lot. Back then we had Baptists, PTL, and we had Presbyterians, Billy Graham.
Yes.
And then there was a smattering of Jews and a smattering of Catholics, and then we were Episcopalians, and we just held our noses up at everybody.
Yeah. So they came over from Our Lady's Island, which is in Wexford, Ireland.
Okay.
The south.
Right.
Like the south of Ireland. Rosslare Harbor, like it's on the Celtic Sea, basically. And we went there a couple summers ago. There's a picture up there of my daughter on a zip line.
I see nothing.
At the playground, which was used to be, the water used to come up to that point, but the church my family would have worshipped at was on behind me, the bench that I was sitting when I took that picture. We saw the plot of land where my family was at before they boarded a boat and settled in Baltimore, and that would be Ambrose Sr., Ambrose Jerome Kennedy Sr., and Annie MacDonald.
Mm-hmm.
And then they married in Ireland. They moved here.
Any more Irish than they were McShake.
Right. And then they had Ambrose Jerome, and we trade a lot of names. There's also Jerome
Sure.
Ambrose.
Right, of course.
And then there was my great grandfather was Daniel Kennedy.
No, I've got a
Danny
friend of
boy.
mine who's from an old Catholic family here in town, the Kerrs, and they're the Bouvets. They're French Huguenots, and I get fascinated because my mom had 2 kids, my aunt had 2 kids that she kept. My grandparents had 2 kids that lived, so you could always have a Davis family reunion in a church van,
Yeah.
not a big deal. And so my buddy Johnny Bouvet, just a great big extended Catholic family, like 65 people show up for birthdays, and I just kind of sit there like, wow, and everybody knows everybody's name.
Yep.
And it's just great. It's not anything I can relate to because you had really 2 sets of people in Charlotte growing up. You had African Americans, and then you had beige,
Right.
just kind of modeled, irrelevant kind of white people. That's what I grew up in Charlotte.
Yeah, I never knew these people in Baltimore. My family was the heathen, bikers and just terrible.
Right.
They were like disowned, they were like those freaking miscreants. And so we just I never knew them, but in doing a lot of the genealogy research, it was really fun. It was really cool.
If you want to do genealogy research, the people that do a wonderful job of that is Latter-day Saints. And the Latter-day Saints have here in Charleston, as part of my reporter background, have a compendium of all this region's. But they do it for everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So in this lovely couple who are not Latter-day Saints or the caregivers of the building, but you can find out if you go through the Latter-day Saints, like everybody who's connected to you and stuff. Like the guy on the Harvard guy, Gates, who does, who are you, where are you from?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
PBS.
yeah.
He could literally do that show with
It
a
was
phone call.
Finding Your Roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's amazing.
And you can, if he's so amazing, why does he use a cane? No.
I love how they find out that like celebrities are related to
Relate
other
to each other.
celebrities.
Yeah.
So if we trace the genealogy on my mom's side, I'm related to Benedict Cumberbatch. And we learned that because when they found one of my great-grandfathers, Richard III, under that parking structure, when they went to finally bury him proper, the living relative that they could find down his bloodline who did his eulogy was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, whenever you say Richard III, I feel like acting like a hunt.
That was
back.
he
was the hunchback.
scoliosis
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
And then up the line further was Robert the Bruce.
Yeah, the Scots.
Yeah, that's because my Kennedys they're the Nordic come down Brian Boru.
Right.
That's the
So,
Kennedys. That's why we're gigantic.
We're
Viking Kennedys.
Go like this. So like my one famous relation that relates here was an Aiken. And one brother became the governor, and the other was kind of like the Tommy boy, and so they sent him to the wilderness, which is Johnson City.
Oh,
and
look at that.
And so they married in, and so the Aiken married into the Johnson family, and my grandmother is Aiken Johnson Davis. Now,
Okay.
my father, Richard Aiken Davis, right? What's short for Richard?
Dick.
What's his middle name?
Aiken.
Now, so he makes the all-metro basketball team in D.C. playing for Washington Lee High School, and they announce him in 1950. And from Washington Lee High School, Richard Aiken Dick Davis. Dad said everyone stopped clapping. His best friend, Gross Reed, was furious because like 12 years, no one? I've been called Gross for 12 years. No one was our middle name. Anyway, and they go, hey, wait a minute. Your grandmother's first name is Aiken. What's her middle name? Dad was like, nope. What's her middle name? He's like, And so my grandmother was there. She was in public and sober. 2 very weird states for her. She was stay at home, get drunk as shit on calling Black Labels and smoke Kent 100s and eat almond bark. And she's like, well, yeah, my middle name, well, we all know your first name's Aiken. And because they never mentioned the Aiken connection or the Johnson connection from Tennessee in DC, because no one would know any of these people. That coin didn't travel. And she goes, oh, yeah, my middle name's Johnson. So my dad is Dick Aiken Davis, and my grandmother's Aiken Johnson Davis. So I come from a family of dick jokes.
I think that's perfect to end it on. My friend Bill, he started it on it was a menstrual joke maybe, and ended it on a dick joke.
That's right.
We've covered the reproductive system.
We bracketed it, yeah.
We bracketed it. Now, I don't know if we started there, but it was pretty close
Next
to the top
week,
of the hour.
Anal.
Fantastic. We'll go to the middle camera. So, everybody, please follow Mr. Bill Davis. He is on Instagram.
Crack.
Bill Davis is funny.
Bill Davis is funny.
And then you also can be found on Facebook.
All right.
But I think you just look you up by name.
Yeah, Bill Davis.
Bill
Yeah.
Davis.
Right.
And those are your two. Although you have been pretty active on Threads.
Have I?
You've been commenting a lot on Threads. I see your comments to a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that I'm 59 and I turn 60 next year, I have a lot of opinions.
Right. Not necessarily active posting your stuff, but
No.
you comment a lot on
Yeah,
Threads.
I'll shit snipe.
There you go. Shit snipe. I'm not quite familiar with that term, but he's hip. He takes them with him up and down the timeline.
That's right.
So shit snipe might have been something then, could be something in the future we haven't heard yet. Here we are. But thank you so much for snacking and yakking with us. And we did a show at Social 19. I'm sure we're sharing the bill on something, probably sharing the bill on something pretty soon. If you get a chance and you see us on the same thing, please come out. It's a great damn time. We've done a bunch of shows. We did Dreamers. We did Social 19. We reconnected in that way. We used to do shows together back in the day. Now that I'm back, I'm so glad that we've gotten a chance to hook up on shows again.
Big old country titties.
And I will maybe mention that in another time. Actually, she did mention that. She mentioned that in her first appearance.
Of course she
here.
did.
That's a Sarah Megan thing. Last week's episode, but she mentioned it in her first episode. This was the culprit.
Going
of the
back in
big
time
old-
again.
But thank you, everybody. And thanks for snacking yakking. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, comment, follow, and share. And we'll see you back here next week for some more Snackin' and Yakkin'.